The S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100. We're getting right into it today. Very short video. I'm going to tell you right now. The charts right now, we'll have a few things. I'll show you the key levels, but the biggest thing that's going to be happening is PCE inflation tomorrow morning at market open, or maybe an hour before market open. Either way, it's around open, right? I want to tell you right now. This will dictate probably the trend of the market for the next few days. And I do believe if this comes out positive, you will be bullish until we get another Fed member, specifically a voting member, talking about their viewpoints on core inflation. Why? Before this week, we had this really good notion of, a pause. Really, like past few weeks, we had this notion of a pause, and then it was creeping back in the idea of, this was a skip, and then maybe coming back next meeting. I do believe with a drop in core inflation, specifically core PCE inflation, that will, I think, have to make the Fed entertain the idea of a real pause for an extended period of time, or at least until data shows otherwise. They continue to say they are data dependent. So I believe as that statement, has to be interpreted, that you are dependent on this data coming out. If it comes out good, then I think it has to shift their notion to most likely a pause, which is why we anticipated a pause coming into June. Okay. Now, as we look at the markets, let's talk about where we're going and where we're at. Now, we talked about the stress test yesterday. Remember, we went over all this information here on the stress test, and it was really good. Basically, the stress test, if you don't know, it would leave banks in a bad situation. However, there's more than enough liquidity moving forward in the market that we wouldn't die. We'd be good. We'd be healthy. No banks would fail. Okay, that was the good news, and it did put us in a situation like the hypothetical bank crash scenario. It was way worse than the 2008 issue. It was way worse than all these other major crashes that we previously had. Unemployment surging to 10%, home values and commercial properties dropping down 38%, etc. So we had it was a really good test there. So that was the news going into today. And so when we look at something like the Nasdaq, which is primarily what you see me talking and trading, something like Qs, the Nasdaq specifically, a little bit of a retrace day. Now we've seen our reaction, right? On the 4-hour chart, we talked about our reaction to previous highs there and how you've been moving throughout that. Really good. If you're not following on Twitter, I recommend doing so. I've had a lot of charts going in about this, but you can also see on Twitter, why we cover these, why we thought it was important, QQQ, etc. So that's where we're at there. Now, I would argue here on the 4-hour, you are consolidating, you are looking like you want to keep pressing up, but that's besides the point in the short term, right? Because we still have data and big news coming out tomorrow. So that's how we're reacting. So far in the market on Nasdaq, it's more of a pullback. Not as bullish short term, but a good reaction, good retracement. But if we take a deeper look at where's the money going today, because the money's going somewhere. ES, the S&P 500, SPY, giving you a visual here. Some of you have requested more SPY charts instead of ES. I'm going to still cover primarily ES, but you can still see here reacting from, previous swing levels, right? Previous swing levels bouncing off those levels. Going to ES, I think futures give you a better example of this, but you can see you're bouncing right off of that 4,400 coming back up, right? We had a little bit of a trap underneath here pushing back up. Okay, a little bit more. This is where a lot of the money went today, was Dow. Great reaction off of support we talked about a few days ago. Again, stair stepping. You're getting the stair stepping. We've been talking about this. This is bull trend 101. This is trend trading 101. Higher highs, higher lows equals bullish behavior. Okay, that's what we're getting right now. So we may see tech lagging, okay, and you are. But you're seeing every other side of the market get more love. Specifically something like the Russell, which we talked about yesterday, continuing to break and push back up. The Russell's actually almost back to its previous highs that we established back on June 15th and 16th, right? You go back and go look where, NQ at 15th and 16th, right up here, that's your highs. The Russell's already back up there. Now, what does the Russell track? Riskier assets, smaller caps. And so what you're seeing is a little bit of a rotation. And this has sparked this idea of, if PCE core comes out good tomorrow, there's a high possibility we can start seeing some fireworks across the board. Because what you're seeing now is the market putting money into assets that we weren't really wanting to touch too long ago, right? So today, the banking sector in particular, XLF, KRE, getting a bulk of that love. Look at the daily, reacting here. Really strong behavior. Remember, when we started to break out from the 5th to the 15th on banks, remember how good the market moved. That was that one area of the market that we couldn't get the breakout. But now I'm just saying there's potential for for banks to really start to break out here, really breaking. You have a lot of illiquid areas up into $35 on XLF. Even riskier banks like KRE get a little bit of love today, which I think riskier banks are still, I'm not wanting to touch them, but you can see banks like JP Morgan, right? Ascending triangle, clearly here, wanting to break out, right? Goldman Sachs getting some love down here. Really strong day on Goldman. Goldman, you have a lot of upside in like 337. Goldman's a really good looking name here as well. Even some of the more retail banks you have here, Bank of America getting a good day. You have WFC, Wells Fargo. These are bouncing strong. These are good reactions. So in my opinion, and then going into more Russell names, you can also could look at some of the Russell really getting love there as well. So in my opinion, PC comes out good tomorrow. If it does, you have a lot of upside potential. If it comes out, flat to up, I don't think it's going to come out higher than expected, but if it comes out flat, I think you just see more chop. I still think it's still on a bullish trend. We'll have to wait and see how the chart reacts and how the market reacts to that. But I'm going to tell you right now, if it comes out good, I believe the market is pricing in flat PCE right now, personally. And they're pricing in a rate hike into the next meeting. They're pricing in no good movement, right? But before we go into any more content, I ask you to do two things. Consider liking and subscribing. I post videos every single day for you, so you are prepared on the market. I'm not going to go too much into this. The Discord link is down below if you're interested. I don't want to go too much into that today either. But I do want to say one thing. If you're interested in getting into a better trading broker, I'm going to tell you right now, Interactive Brokers, the link is down below. Just check them out. That's all I ever tell anybody. Check out Interactive Brokers. I'm telling you right now. It's a night and day difference when it comes to fills, contract orders, and how much you're actually going to be making on your trades. Use them for a week. Test them out for a week. Absolutely free. Just look at their platform. I'm telling you, you'll be happy. Thank me later. But going into this with PCE core specifically, I like the upside potential. I like it. Okay, so I don't want to cover too many charts. I want to focus on that. Now we go into a little bit more. Also, too, if you don't know, Apple's got a price target raise to 240. That's where you're getting love in the after hours. I also want to say this. As we've been such big bulls here on Apple, the ascending triangle, the breakup, I want to say this right now. It's hard to be bearish on the market or to look for a reversal or to say we're going to drop while the number one stock in the world, Apple, biggest, baddest company in the world, right? They continue to innovate and dominate, is making higher highs every single day. Being a bear makes no logical sense for me right now. Now, if you make lower lows, then obviously, yeah, it makes sense. But until then, you are shorting the trend. You are giving away money. So congratulations, you played yourself. Now, going into DXY, looking at here the dollar. I do want to talk about this. So the dollar, you got a little bit of upside action here today. Okay, a little bit. Now, I had some people saying, well, Tyler, the dollar's bullish. I don't want to focus too much on the dollar, but I will say, look at this on only higher time frames. Understand the trend, understand how we're moving, and that's it on the dollar. I'm not day trading the dollar. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm watching to see how we react and how we move forward. Okay, I do believe PC again. I'm gonna say it over and over. Tomorrow is very influential for the the market as a whole. Going into yields, going into gold as well. Gold, you're seeing a little bit of a pick me up here, decent candle where you drop down and got a little bit of buying. So people definitely trying to hedge some of their positions here because again, if PC comes out bad, I think gold will start to, spot gold will go up. The 2-year yield, again, we mentioned yesterday, I was like, I need to see this actually drop, these little small red candles aren't it, and so they're continuing to go up. Again, yields are going to react to the expectations that we have set specifically for these data pools. So going into where we are and what's happening specifically with PC and how we've been, printing as of recently, it's no surprise. Again, yields are the only thing that pose a threat and that give me any type of bearish sentiment at all in the market. But besides that, everything continues to look really good. Last thing up is VIX, and VIX just continues to make really terrible candles across the board, pushing down and down and down. So, nothing's really shifted or changed there. But I just want to say this right now before we go, or before I let you out of here. Focus on trading what the market gives you. Focus on doing what has been working for us the past few weeks and months. Forcing trades is generally where you take the biggest losses. That's where I take my biggest losses when I try to trade a market I know I shouldn't be trading. So, I've been getting more dated positions as of recently until we get some of this information, until we get another breakout, until we start establishing these levels, specifically on NQ, like until we get above, 15.25, I'm going pretty passive at the market. I'm trying to get data positions, minimize my risk as a whole, and kind of go on cruise control here. That's my mentality right now. There's no reason to get out of the box. There's no reason for me to go crazy. There's no reason for me to start risking it, for the entire biscuit, right? Be patient, be calm, understand what got you to the point to where you're at in your portfolio, whether it be good, whether it be bad. If it's bad, start changing things, start making differences, start understanding what you're doing wrong. If it's good, then understand what you did to get to that situation, what you did to grow your account, what you're going to do to, grow it even further. What's your next step? What's your next goals? That constantly has to be on our mind. So I always tell people in Discord, I always tell people in live chats, being in a trade isn't always the best position. Sometimes the best position is to stay on the sidelines and refine your craft. Focus on getting better. Focus on, what your next step is, right? You don't want to be taking steps and not knowing where you're going. I'll leave you with that. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, traders.